You don't mess with Texas. C.J. Stroud got his boys going. 2-0 to start the season. First time for Houston since 2016. There is a growing belief in that town, and it wears the number 7. Shrouded in greatness. Houston on their way. Back in studio alongside the Mac Man, your host Joe Musso. Mac.
Yes, sir.
Got to talk some winners and losers, and we could go a number of different directions on this day. We like to start with the positive. Your biggest winner coming out of week 2, where's your mind go?
My biggest winner. Let's go down to New Orleans, right? New Orleans, the Saints. They're my biggest winner because what they did today was overly surprising, but yet and still super impressive, right? Traveling to Dallas, you look at what Dallas did last week against the Cleveland Browns, dominated them from start to finish. Well, it was role reversal in this matchup for New Orleans versus the Cowboys. New Orleans started out on point. Everything was clicking. Derek Carr, unbelievable ball game. Alvin Kamara, unbelievable ball game. Rashad Shaheed, unbelievable ball game. If that's their big 3, I love it because these guys can score at will and they have speed and they're playing with a lot of confidence right now. When you talk about just taking over from start to finish, this is what we saw. And the most important thing about their victory today, they're having fun. As I stated earlier in our show, Derek Carr is smiling. He is giving us dance moves in the end zone. Michael Jackson, kick, hip thrust, having fun. And he deserves every praise that he is receiving because he's been through a lot. But you can tell right now, this offense, this new regime that they have offensively, the guys have bought into it, and they understand if they do their job, they can put up video game-like points like they did today, and they have the dudes to do so.
A certain tip of the cap to Derek Carr, who's leading this offense to 91 points through 2 games. But, Mac, you mentioned the offensive infrastructure there. Clint Kubiak coming over, I believe, from the 49ers passing game, and that is a tree that has borne fruit in these past few years. How big is just the vision you're seeing? I mean, you got deep shots early in game. You got passing on the perimeter, effective run game. Seems like one thing feeds another. How big has his vision been?
His vision has been super big and very, very beneficial because he's putting his players in positions to be successful. Before we talk about anything, we will talk about Coach Kubiak and this new offensive strategy he has implemented with the Saints. It starts and it stops with the offensive line. Today they played against a very, very highly heralded defensive front in the Dallas Cowboys. Only surrendered 1 sack. How many times did the Cowboys sack Deshaun Watson? I believe it was 6. Right? Not to mention some of the pressures they had. It was the total opposite. So when you talk about the infrastructure that they have built for Derek Carr, no question, he is as comfortable as a baby in a car seat. And you know, anytime you put a baby in a car seat, they go straight to sleep because they're so comfortable. That's who Derek Carr is based on this new offensive scheme that they have in place, not to mention the running game as well. The balance has been surprising to see, but now it's all about can they sustain this level of production on the offensive side.
Not to be slept on. Those Saints
I see what you're doing right there.
Are here to play. For every winner, there is a loser. Who are you looking at with the side eye on this one, Mac?
AFC North potential champions. Many folks felt like predictions, offseason predictions. The Baltimore Ravens, they're my biggest loser. We saw what happened last week, Thursday Night Football against Kansas City. Opening night, a lot was going on. You lost. You lost to Andy Reid. You lost to Pat Mahomes. Very, very close game. An extended toe led to you losing potentially that ball game. But then you get your home opener. You get a team that's kind of been spiraling in the wrong direction. Wasn't competitive against the Chargers, the Raiders. They traveled from the West Coast to the East Coast. Many felt like this was a get-right moment for the Baltimore Ravens, a get-right moment for Lamar Jackson. Well, it was a get-wrong moment. Everything went wrong. And the thing about this loss, why it's so discouraging to accept, you had a double-digit lead in the 4th quarter.
Can't happen. You
cannot squander away a double-digit lead in the 4th quarter to Gardner Minshew. And no knock on Gardner Minshew. He's a highly intelligent professional quarterback who's been around the game for quite some time. But if you're not going to give up a double-digit lead at home to a Pat Mahomes, right?
It better be someone with rings.
It better be someone with rings. Joe Burrow. You know, you felt like you was in a great position to win, but the defense let the team down, and they didn't make the timely plays that they needed to make. So for me, understanding and knowing what was at stake, losing week 1, being a 8.5-point favorite at home, knowing that you need to get back on the right track, and you had an opportunity to do so, and you allowed 13 points to the Las Vegas Raiders at home that put them in position to win that ball game. I'm sorry, the Ravens, you're my biggest loser. And get this, next week, you got to go to Dallas, who will be highly motivated because they got kicked in the teeth tonight as well.
If you believe in the bad birds, maybe it's a buy now as you see those Super Bowl odds have plummeted to just 5.7%. They were one of the most bought teams preseason to do just that. Now, this is the task ahead of them if they want to. Only 3 teams in NFL history have opened 0-2 and gone on to hoist
the sticky Lombardi.
That sticky Lombardi. Most recently, the 07 Giants. It is an uphill climb, and the hill has gotten steeper. All right, we want to take a little bit of the green room to you, give you a sneak peek into what it's like watching ball all day with the Mac Men. We like to say certain things, and there's certain phrases that just keep on coming up. That's your guy. We usually go back and forth. That's your guy, you know, or that's my guy.
Yeah.
It's said in football circles all the time. So we're going to start a little something here on the HQ postgame called That's My Guy.
That's my guy.
And I'm going to let you take your guy first. Coming out of this week and just setting some ground rules. Once a guy is taken, he is your guy. He cannot be taken later in the season. You will amass your roster throughout the season.
One time to use my ticket.
Who's
on
your
my guy? Well, my guy, I talked about his team being the biggest winner. It's no other than the great Alvin Kamara. I mean, unbelievable day today. If I didn't know any better, Joe, are you sure we're not in the year 2020?
We are not.
Are you sure?
Let me check again. Nope,
because
still
when I
not.
watched Lights Kamara action today, it felt like this was the 2020 version of Alvin Kamara. Great day. 20 carries for 115 yards, 3 touchdowns. He also added 65 yards receiving, a 50-plus touchdown reception, a total of 4 touchdowns. When you saw number 41, every time he touched the football, he was doing something positive for his offense. And the Dallas Cowboys had no answer for him when he was running the football. The Dallas Cowboys had no answer for him when he was catching the football. A huge day, a huge performance for no other than Lights Kamara action. Because he was given a lot of positive action for his New Orleans Saints and all the New Orleans Saints fans. He, my friend, was balling big time, and because of that, he is my guy for the weekend, for the Sunday's game. And I can't pick him again.
No, but he's on your roster.
Like I needed to pick him today because he deserves his flowers.
He's on your That's My Guy roster.
He's on my roster.
And I can't take him. He is on my fantasy team, but he is not on my That's My Guy roster. Shame on you for not starting on the defensive side of the ball. I thought we had morals on this show.
I don't want to be predictable.
I'm starting on the defensive side of the ball because I walked in that green room this morning and I asked you what, Bryant McFadden?
Is Aiden Hutchinson in the same neighborhood conversation of the likes of T.J. Watt, Myles Garrett when it comes to being an elite-like pass rusher? I said, no, not yet.
You looked at me like I had an arm growing out of my head.
Why you mentioned T.J.'s name?
20 minutes later, he had 3 sacks. He finished the day with 4.5. Aiden Hutchinson, that's my guy. I'm putting him on my roster. And just to be specific, I did ask you, when do we start talking about Aiden Hutchinson like that tier of player? This week might have been the week we start talking about Aiden Hutchinson as that tier of player. Led the league in QB pressures in week 1. And you know I live in the notes. I chew on the tape. I saw what I saw, and I asked you a question. We got an answer on Sunday. Aiden Hutchinson.
Facts. We did.
It's my guy.
Yes, sir.
We got more coming all week long. We get you ready for week 3 in the NFL. Highlights, scores, post-game sound analysis, everything you need to stay up to speed with this league we love. Join us each and every day, all day long on CBS Sports HQ.